fighter. Um, Overall good changes. There are some niche picks, but I think overall fighter's in a really good spot. It already was in well, okay, not a great spot, but a better spot than the rest of the martials, and now it's even better. I think weapon mastery with the multiple attack features is a really strong the fighter. Um, and it's really unique too because you get six of them, which I will go into. Yeah, you get six. Nice. Yeah. All right. So first off, the fighting style feats. Um, they have changed slightly on the ones that did are on the board. All the other ones are the exact same. So great weapon fighting. So now it's a stagnant 3 minimum instead of getting a reroll on ones and twos. That is unfortunately bad. You would rather risk it for a higher result than three. And even if you got three, it was fine, right? Um, Protection. This is insanity. Because you're giving disadvantage on all hits, it's pretty much like casting shield for free. This one might be a problem. Uh, Superior tactics are is gone. That's actually a loss. That's the one that give you the Battle Master maneuver. You get a single one. It was cool, and I think it should have stayed. But I get they're trying to separate the fighter from being sorry, they're trying to separate the Battle Master from being the default fighter. Um, As for unarmored fighting, it's just that grappling got a buff in general, so this is a more viable option. Um, so second one, huge buffs. You start off with two at a baseline. You still only gain one back, but it scales all the way up to four at level 10. That's when it stops. But like, there's so many second wins you get. It's like a reliable class resource. That you don't just get for like one fight when you need it. You get it. It's so good. All right. So weapon masteries, as I said before, you start off with three and you go to six. So weapon juggling for this class is going to be crucial with the four extra attacks you can get. Um, One nerf. Well, it's not really a nerf. The only one it nerfed is probably the Eldritch Knight. I'm not quite sure. I think it still works the Eldritch Knight because you're using the attack action to cast a spell and you're not using the magical action as like its own separate action. Like, it's part of the attack action. I think it still works the Eldritch Knight, but for anyone else multi-classing from a mage class, you cannot cast two-level spells on the same turn with the action surge. But this is it's not it is a nerf, but it's not a nerf to like if you're just playing raw fighter. Um, I guess it will be a nerf if you try to cast two-leveled spells with an Eldritch Knight, but like you already don't get so many spells. I don't know why you would try to burst down someone like casting two fireballs when you only have the two spell slots for it. Anyways, more in great news is that second win ability can now be used for ability checks to re-roll them, and even if you fail, you get the second win back. This is a huge boost to your social skills and other as a fighter. Great use of second wind. Um, This is just a bonus movement speed. Whenever you use your second one in combat, you can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity. Actually, the opportunity attacks part is important, but this one's a lot better than the barbarian one, which is kind of okay, because you'll actually be using second wind a whole lot for this feature. I personally believe. Uh, Indomitable. Okay, so it's insane. What you get to add is you get your second reroll, and then you get to add your fighter level to the roll. Um, which you get this at like level 9, I want to say, maybe level 11. I kind of forgot. But it basically just becomes a legendary resistance because of how much of a bonus it's giving you. Um, so when you get to level 20, it's a plus 20, and then plus your modifier, and then plus whatever you get in the die. Like it's basically a legendary resistance, and then you still get the second one at like 14th level, and then the third one at 18th, I want to say. wild. So yeah, the extra attacks got buffed because of weapon masteries. Study attack. Let's see if we can attack roll before the end of your turn. Oh, cool! This is just a free advantage if you somehow miss as a fighter. I don't remember what level this is, but it's just hey, more crits for your fighter, or just a more straightforward attack. This also helps you hit like a high AC annoying enemies at this level. Fantastic. All right. And then the third extra attack with weapon mastery buffs. The only thing is that I kind of wish this was pushed to 17, like the other cantrips have, where they have a boost at 17. I don't think this should be the fighter capstone. Um, I think it should be something else, and this should just be pushed to level 17. But I get it kind of makes multi-classing fighter a little bit like this is the bonus for sticking with fighter is that you get 4 attacks, but I feel like you can give this at level 17 instead. On to the Battle Master. Battle Master already rocked. It just got better. So you get an additional skill proficiency from your own skills list. And now know your enemy change. This is the social one. So instead of knowing a bunch of stats about your enemies, instead you just get to know what their vulnerability, resistance, and immunities are. This makes fighting them way easier. It's only a bonus action. However, you can only use this ability once per long rest unless you use one of your superior die to refresh it. I think you only ever have to use it for like a boss or something like that, where you really need to know what's the best way to handle them or what's not a good way to handle them. And finally, Relentless got reworked, and now alongside your superiority die you roll, you also have to roll an additional D8. And you could take the D8's damage rather than superiority dies damage not expended. But what you could do is you could just roll it and see which one gets higher. Sometimes the D8 might roll higher than the D10, right? Like it's a chance. So you get to use battle maneuvers the whole time, the whole combat now. Um, there were some nerfs. Sorry, there actually weren't even any nerfs. Some options are gone. I don't even remember what brace, grappling strike. Okay, grappling strike did grapple. Oh, that is unfortunate loss. Quick toss. I don't remember what that did. But those are gone. Commanding strike. This is the one where you need your ally's reaction. To make an attack, I believe. So you no longer need your bonus action to do that, which is fantastic. Evasive footwork gives you disadvantage, but keeps your AC until the end of your next turn, and now costs a bonus action. This is a good because I think it only temporarily did it for your own turn, so now it's lasting the whole round, but it does cost a bonus. I think, yeah. Lunge attack. So this one costs a bonus action, and you no longer just get an extra. I think it was an extra 5 feet range with it. It just gives you the dash action as part of your bonus action. So what Rose can do pretty much. So a very mobile build for the fighter would want this, but I think you would rather just take the speedy feat, which is the old mobile feat. Parry. So before you couldn't add your strength modifier. Sorry. You can either add your strength or dexterity modifier to parries. Um, so this is great for either dex or strength based fighters. And now I forgot which one it was locked to only one. I want to say it was dex based, but now it can go either way. And rally, which was already good, now scales off of your fighter level instead of charisma. And newsflash, you're gonna have a lot more of your fighter levels rather than your charisma bonus. So it's a lot of temporary hit points given out. Champion got a buff. It's personally wouldn't take it, but oh shoot, oh just right. All right. So you have advantage on initiative rolls and athletic checks. Phenomenal. This is a good reason to take it. And after you crit, you can move to half your speed with the provoking opportunity tags. Now the thing is, half your speed is good. I don't think you're gonna be getting. I don't think you're gonna be proccing opportunity attacks as your opponent might be dead. But half speed to move on to your next opponent right away. That might just get you to it if you're already in melee range. Remarkable Athlete is gone and replaced by an additional fighting style. Um, well, sorry, the old like placement of Remarkable Athlete. Now that actually, so that's wrong. Something else should have been replaced. It wasn't important either way. So the additional fighting style is fine. I kind of feel like gaining more fighting styles would have been the champions like maybe go to where you are the fighter, which is already known as, but like this would mean you're more diverse in your fighting styles, and that's what I would have appreciated. But I guess one additional fighting style ain't too bad, but I think most of builds just focus on one type of fighting, now with all its weapons. So heroic warrior, this one is super good. You get heroic inspiration every single turn during combat. So it's a free uh a D20 that you could use to reroll anything, any D20 test. Amazing. Unfortunately, it's only during combat. And then finally, savior. This one, it's good. Oh, whoops, it's good. A 19 to 20, 18 to 20 critically saves on your death saving throw. Um, so like, yeah, I guess in those clutch, there's a 50% chance that you, 15% chance that you can get up from a clutch situation. It's a buff, but like it's not that big of a buff. Elder's Knight, this spell skill restriction gone. Uh, your evocation and um, sorry, evocation and abjuration spells, they're great. They're still probably gonna be your primary use of the subclass, but now you get access to the other tools the wizard has. And it's good. It's great. Uh, you can have find familiar if you want to help you out with those attack rolls. Giving yourself a manage. And now bonus to War Magic is that you can also replace one of your attacks with a cantrip. Um, because it used to be you can cast a cantrip and then as a bonus action you can attack singular time. Um, so now that'll at this level it'll be the exact same, but it will just not be bonus action, and then moving forward it'll be just more attacks. Phenomenal stuff. Especially we have Green Flame Blade, Blooming Blade, and now True Strike is in the book itself. That can all be used with your weapons, making them do phenomenal burst damage. And then improved War Magic. So instead of doing the same thing with the bonus action where it becomes a single attack, it's now just taking up two of your attack actions in your attack slot. It'll do the same amount of damage it would have done normally, unless you're at level 20, then it does more damage there. But again, it doesn't take up your bonus action. That's the most important part because as a fighter, you will be using that so often. Okay. So yeah, Cywar didn't get any buffs, and it was already like lacking behind from. It was trying to be both the Battle Master and the Elder's Knight, and it ended up just not being the best of both worlds, and they didn't even buff it. Uh, I would have preferred a different fighter subclass in this book. Arcane Archer, I think, is my go-to. Um, it I didn't realize how badly it sucked. You only get two special arrows every single long rest, and once you use them, good luck. Man, it might even be almost every single long rest now I think about it, instead of short rests. I'm not gonna make claims that I don't remember. Uh, Banneret. Okay, so this one's kind of funny. Because of both Second Wind and Indomitable getting a buff, the Banneret kind of works. It's still not the best, but it kind of works. And then same thing for the Cavalier, because Sentinel and Polearm Master got nerfed, where they don't work um as well together. Uh, Cavalier still has that combo built into the subclass, so it still works there. Um, on top of its like 18th level reaction strikes. So you can still, I think Cavalier still works. And in addition, Lances now work better with the subclass because they can be used in melee range without the penalty. They got changed to the same stats, D10 instead of a D12, like the Halberd, um, and Polearm. However, they still have the benefit of being one-handed while on a mount. So I think Lances, phenomenal, and now work with the subclass even better. So I think Cavalier, phenomenal stuff. Uh, Echo. So the Echo Knight can make an extra attack. Um, and you can pretty much you can ping pong a target between you and the Echo. Uh, so that's funny. Rune Knight just got the weapon masteries, which could be interesting with the runes. Samurai got the weapon masteries and just more uses of second wind. Uh, Personally, oh shoot, if I had a choice, I would have replaced the Arcane Archer with the Side Warrior. Um, but I guess they don't want to take away from the Ranger this time around. But like, I mean, they should have. Never mind, I'm not gonna get into it. Okay, so overall, I think Fighter is top of B. It now has a strong baseline for all the social stuff just by using second wins. Um, and I feel like having Indomitable be Indomitable, I think it's got the best durability in the game. Um, Popped off with pretty good damage. Um, I may be able to get the utility a little bit higher because of we'll have to see in game, but I think its base level of just everything is just up higher, and it's a really good all rounder for frontline fighter. Oh, Monk, blessed be. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. Monk has climbed from F or D tier. I forgot which. I think I put an F tier. All the way to B. I'm just gonna tell you right that right now. Right now. So it gained proficiencies in scimitars and hand crossbows, as they are in the simple category, which they weren't before. And the martial arts die has started off with a base of a D6 and now scales to D12. This is one of the things that everyone suggested as a fix. Phenomenal stuff. Uh, and you can they now count as a light weapon, the unarmed strikes, so you can now just make a single one without needing to use the uh oh sorry. What I meant no, I think no, I still meant that. You can now just make an unarmed strike even though you didn't make a an attack with your main action. Um so they can do an offhand for attack for free. Um Now I think there was something about the daggers also being a monk weapon, and you can just use them for the Nick property. I forgot the exact use of it, but monks also work great with daggers. And then so in addition, when you use grapple or shove, you can also use an armor strike attack with it. Uh, and they can scale off your dex modifier, no longer your strength modifier for the athletics and acrobatics checks. Nice, nice, fantastic. I really recommend this class with the Tavern Brawler. So everyone's a drunken master now. Hey, let's go. Monks. So Monk's focus. It's changed. It's been a name change from the key. So now dashing or disengaging as a bonus action is completely free, just like how rogues are. You no longer have to spend key on it. Thank God. Now, if you want to spend key on it, you can take the dash or dodge action, or you can take the disengage. Sorry, the disengage or dodge action. dodge option, or you can take the disengage and dash option, and also increase your jump distance. Nice, nice. Uncanny metabolism. When you roll initiative, you can gain expended uses of focus points and heal yourself a fairly small amount, but the gaining them all back in an emergency pinch, phenomenal. You can use it once a day. I should have labeled that down there, which I didn't. All right, deflect attacks from deflect missiles. Oh boy, this was a cool feature, but kind of not useful in every single fight. And now it is. You can deflect any damage, bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing from any weapon. It's a flat range of 60 feet now. It used to be 20, 60, so you have disadvantage at a range longer than. Anyways, flat 60, fantastic. And they now scale off of twice your martial arts die. Oh, this is a whole lot more damage than I thought it did. Oh boy. Okay, I put it in the right spot, but I didn't realize, this. So one thing about the monks that I wasn't convinced about is when they were trying to design the barbarian, the fighter, and the monk in the one D&D Unearthed Arcanas, the monk, they were trying to make a warrior alongside those two, and I didn't feel it was tanky enough. So what the monk's gonna start doing is the monk's gonna start dodge tanking and deflecting. That's the monk's tanking right here. And it is a redirecting damage back at the enemy, which I think it succeeds in. All right. So stunning strike. It got changed. I wouldn't call this a nerf. So it is now locked once per turn. And on a successful save, the target has so if they save successfully, they still have half their speed, and their next attack will have disadvantage until your next turn. So you still get something even if they save, but I think it's an overall healthy. It's healthy that the monk's stunning strike is not that powerful. I think it's an overall good change, especially with the other buffs you were getting. Empowered key. So this just deals force damage instead of magical bludgeoning damage because magical damage for weapons are out of the game now. Stillness of mind and purity of body. It's now replaced by self restoration. Where did I put that? Oh, I had to put that. Why did I put that there? It's weird. Okay, we'll get back to that. Acrobatic movement. You can now move along vertical surfaces and across liquids. You are Jesus. Nice. So heightened focused. So Fury Blows now goes to 3 attacks if you use it. Patient Defense now gives you 2 martial arts dice, temporary hit points. Um, or if you want to use Step of the Wind, you can now grab an ally, and you can leave together. Fantastic mid, like I think it's level 11. Fantastic, and then finally self restoration at the end of each of your turns. You can end a charmed, or frightened, or poison condition. This used to be an action, I believe. I think that's why it got changed. And now you can forgo food and drink. And so now we're getting rid of the bad abilities. Tongue of the Sun and Moon allowed you to speak any language. This was at level 14. Um, you didn't need to do that at level 14. What you need to do is deflect energy. Deflect energy now allows you to. You can now use any attack to deflect. The enemy wizard tries to fireball you. You can send it right back. So you use magical effects and breath weapons. This is funny. This is a good feature. And another proof of the dodge tanking that monks will do now. Timeless Body was bad. Perfect Focus is amazing. So whenever you roll initiative, you just regain focus points until you have 4. It was the old Perfect Self. Uh, However, now you're in more key points are better. Um, and this is not the capstone ability anymore. Uh, so empty body, empty body did get nerfed, however. Well, not spirit defense. So you no longer gain the invisibility condition, when you use it, which was kind of important and a good aspect of the feature. And you can just no longer use astral projection, which it's kind of okay. But the feature now just costs one less for the invisible, the superior defense. I forgot what it's called. It was called superior defense. I feel like they could have kept the astral projection in there for flavor, even though you didn't really use it a whole lot. It costs a lot of key points too. And then finally, mind and body. Just like the barbarian, you get to set your dexterity to above 4, and your wisdom do the same. Amazing. All right. Mercy got nerfed weirdly. Like it was flurry of healing and harm, and you can only use this feature equal to your wisdom modifier per long rest. This is not the feature I would have nerfed from this subclass, and I kind of feel like it does need a nerf now that the base monk is so strong. This is the only Mercy was one of the only subclasses that made monk viable. I have a Mercy monk in one of my campaigns, and the only reason why that player is able to like be competitive is because of the Mercy monk's features. Other than that, monk is a garbage. Well, 2014 the monk was garbage, which it's now not anymore. Shadows overall got a buff, but Shadow Arts did change. So now it only costs one focus point, but you can only cast Darkness now. So you're limited to just the Darkness spell. You had a bunch of others. Pass Without a Trace and Silence will be missed. Uh, and now you can see within this magical darkness. Um, and you can also move it around the battlefield, no action required, and you get free dark vision. So you know what? It's a worthy trade. O7 to Pass Without a Trace and Silence. Improvise shadow steps. You're gonna teleport in between bright light area and with a shadow step. In addition, when you do so, you can make you can make a single attack action with your bonus action for the cost of one focus point. I think it's worth it for mobility reasons, and you're always gonna have that shadow going around. Sorry. You know what it is? You can teleport from a shadowy area to a bright light area, not the other way around. That makes more sense. Opportunity stability is gone. I think it was somewhat useful, but not too much. And then Cloak of Shadows was moved to 17th level. And that costs 3 key points to go invisible and incorporeal. However, you get it's your superhero moment. You get free flurry of blows for a minute. And again, when you're in the darkness, you're invisible. Um, you just have to make sure you're in dim light or lower. Which again, you can move your darkness, and it'll be good. You'll be fine. Wave Open Hand got weirdly nerfed to the point where I don't know why I would pick this over Mercy. It's Open Hand technique. Target can't make opportunity attacks. Uh, so it just shut down their opportunity attacks, but they can still take other reactions. I get why they was changed for like the new design for legendary creatures being able to use reactions instead of legendary actions. I don't know why they decided to change that. They could have kept it the same. Uh, yeah, I guess it doesn't work for spells that take reactions anymore, which sucks. Bonus of body. So instead of a burst healing with its martial die plus your wisdom bonus, you can use it your wisdom modifier times per day. So I think you get more of it. And I think overall you get more healing. I didn't put in the math for some reason. Tranquility was a bad feature that meant you always could have protection from good and evil on yourself, or no, it was sanctuary on yourself. But you're a monk and you want to fight, so why would you ever It was bad. It was counterintuitive with the class. So what Fleet Step does is now you always have Step of the Wind is just free. Uh, but you can't Step of the Wind twice. Like you just. Oh, sorry. What about free? I meant like you can Step of the Wind, and not use a bonus action. It's just a free action. I apologize. So it's a free action for Step of the Wind. Uh, Quivering Palm. All right, this is the biggest nerf. That didn't need to happen. So it no longer instantly kills them. Uh, which I mean, fine, I guess. So instead, it just deals 10d12 force damage or half on a success. It also now costs 4 focus points up from 3, and you can now use the damage. So beforehand, it was an action to deal the damage, and now you can use it as part of your attack action. So it only takes one of your swings. Um, so I guess there's a little bit of extra damage there. This is save or take half as well for the force damage. Oh, it's right there, labeled over there. The other one was either you kill them or that deals damage on a successful save. The other one was better. Oh my god. So I didn't realize if you go into old um the old handbook and read the Four Elements monk, I didn't realize that none of their abilities are in order. It's just a spell list that's in alphabetical order. It looks horrendous. Um so yeah, this is a working version of the Four Elements. Thank God they put it in the game. So again, none of these features. There's practically a new subclass. Practically a new subclass, and a great one at that. All right, elemental attunement. So you get 15-foot punches right off the bat. They can deal elemental damage and they can push or pull. Uh, you only have to spend 1 focus point, and this can last up to 10 minutes. So you can probably get this in 2 fights. Uh, Phenomenal stuff. Manipulate element. This is gonna be the elementalist cantrip. It's a little flavor thing. Cool for that. Not really helpful much else other than flavor. Elemental burst. For 2 focus points, you can create an elemental AoE, 20 foot around yourself. You can deal 3 times your martial arts die of any elemental type damage. Great control. You just got to be focused on hurting allies, but if you're the only frontliner, this would be phenomenal because you'll be in the thick of it. Stride of the Elements. While you're elementally attuned, this top one up here, you can activate and you can gain a fly speed. Sorry, when you activate this ability up here, you can gain a fly, swim. Sorry, you actually gain a flying speed and a swim speed. Uh, Great stuff. And finally, uh, elemental appetite, epitome, probably epitome. While your elemental tune is activated, you gained the elemental damage since they can swap every single turn. You probably will keep it on one though. And when you step in the wind, you leave behind a trail of destruction, and people take. I think it's like within a 5 foot radius of you. They'll take the elemental damage type, equal to a single use of your martial arts die. Um, and you get to add, or it's a die, and you get to add this other elemental martial arts die to one of the damages per turn that you make. Uh, so yes, you finally get to be the Avatar. Thank God they buffed this subclass. This is really fun. So Monk, I think it's mid B. I think you're still going to struggle to be the only frontliner, but you're going to have a lot of reactions and especially utility. You can do so much with the monk. There is the meme of going back to the cheese grinder, and gritting a monk, grappling an opponent, and just pushing them through what's it called? Spiked Train. The one that druids and rangers get. You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember it off the top of my head. So yeah, monks do a whole lot more damage now. So between barbarian, fighter, and monk. Barbarian is the mix of the two, which does a good amount of damage and a good amount of durability. Fighter focuses more on the durability, and monk now focuses more on the damage. To the point where it's actually like good for that. Like if you see the old monk's damage numbers, it was the worst in the game. Now I think this is phenomenal. For how little amount of focus points you have to put into it. Uh, and its utility features are great. It lacks the same things that it always has. But now you get more. With your physical traits. I am so happy with this change. I'm gonna take a break here for Paladin, so I'm gonna cut the recording off. Alrighty, I'm back. Okay, Paladin. So listen, right off the bat, Divine Smite, it got nerfed. Um, I think it's healthy, but the rest of the Paladin's features, they got an upgrade, so I'm not too upset. All right. So first off, Lay on Hands. It is now a bonus action. Phenomenal. This keeps on par with the other quick self-sustain options that the fighter, the monk, not the monk. I guess somewhat the monk. But the fighter, barbarian, like you keep on par with self-sustain, or you can give it to others. Nice, good change, fantastic change. Um, so spell casting. This one did take a hit, however. As a paladin, I feel like you're maxing up your charisma modifier right away. So you get less spells overall progression. You still get the same amount of spells at the end of the day. When you're level 20, but it's a slower progression. But the bigger nerf is that you can only swap out one spell per long rest. With another spell. Um, so you're a bit of a weaker prepared caster. The same thing goes to the ranger, but the ranger didn't wasn't a prepared caster to begin with. So hey, good on them buffs. I just wanted to make sure I'm recording. I'm recording. Look at it later. Okay. Um, as for weapon masteries, you get two. These you do get. Oh, you can't swap these out. That's right. You start off with two. You never get more than two. You can't swap them out. So you have to be very careful about what you pick of uh at the start of your journey. I wish this would have been able to swap out per level. But I don't believe it is. So Divine Smite, it's nerf. You get a free one every long rest, but that doesn't really matter because now the spell it costs a bonus action. The other smites got buffed, so you might use them over the regular Divine Smite, even though it still does the highest burst damage. It doesn't even do the highest damage anymore. There's another spell that has, I think it was Sneering Smite, that does damage over time that does more damage than Divine Smite. Um, as well as I guess it casts a spell now, so it can be counterspelled. I don't really think that's going to be the biggest problem you run into, especially since counterspell also got nerfed. Uh, so yeah, a lot of the other smites no longer need concentration anymore. And banishing smite was also nerfed, needing a charisma saving throw, but that's towards level 17 at the end of the game. Um, all right, fighting style. You now have the same fighting styles as the fighter mentioned earlier, which you didn't used to have. You had a very limited list. Now you get the full list, as well as Blessed Warrior, which is the cleric cantrip, and I think you get a cleric spell. If you want to go more of a backline paladin, I don't know why you would. Um, I think you're much better just at melee range. So divine health, just disease is gone from the game, so it doesn't get rid of it anymore. So it's a nothing loss really. Um, channel divinities. Now here we go. We gain two at the start, and you gain one more at level 11. So you get three in total. You only get one back on a short rest, but you used to only ever gain one divine channel divinity per short rest. So phenomenal buff. It was a nerf to the cleric, buff to the paladin. Um, however, there is some things like Divine Sense. It's a now channel divinity, and you get it at third level, so it's a bit of a back set. However, it lasts 10 minutes, and it goes around total cover. So you get to ping all the undead swarming you on site or two combat encounters. It's great in dungeons. Listen, it needed the. I guess it used to be a free action, not a free action. It used to be free times the amount of prisons use. It's way better. You're gonna use it way better. There's more uses for it. So I think it's a total buff. Faithful Steed. Everyone's mad that you get this spell for free. Find Steed. You get a free one every long rest. Listen, you don't have to use it. But even if you don't want to use it personally, as part of your pod, I don't know. You should. It's an extra 60 movement speed that you didn't have otherwise. You were stuck at 30 for the whole time as a frontline fighter. Um, you can give it to an ally. So just do that instead. It'll be a buff to them at the very least. All right. Abjure Foes. This is a new channel divinity option that will mass fear anyone. It scales off your charisma. Um, and those who are frightened are pretty much same effect as turned. So this will say this. It does. I think it does have to frighten them. So unlike the turned condition that the cleric has, and if they're frightened immunity, this one frightened immunity will make them immune to this. So just keep that in mind. Cleansing touch was a good increase to the lay on hands. Restoring touch is also good. So it's replacing one good feature with another good feature. Um, hey, it happens sometimes. So if you when you use lay on hands, you can have them removed blindness, charmed, deafened, frightened, or paralyzed or stunned. By using 5 hit points, which is definitely worth it for some of these conditions. Oh boy. I'm gonna miss cleansing touch, but I think restoring touch is a good replacement. Whoops. On to the subclasses. All right, devotion. Um, we got some changes. Um, so Shield of Faith and Aid were added. Great spells. Sanctuary was lost. I don't like Sanctuary. Less Restoration for the trade of Aid. I think it's worth it. Uh, Now your Sacred Less weapon, it now lasts 10 minutes. And it deals radiant damage instead of magical damage. Which radiant is good, so it's an overall buff. Um, Turn the Unholy is gone. I don't remember it being a good feature. So I think you're fine. Uh, Purity of Spirit is replaced by Purity of Protection. Oh, this one was weird. Okay, yeah, because whenever you use your Divine Smite, you now have half cover within your aura for a single round. So it's giving out +2 to AC and to Dex saving throw. Like it's a weird feature. Um, it's a weird feature. I don't know how much use you're gonna get out of this. It might save you sometimes, it might not. Oops. Um, Holy Nimbus. It now lasts 10 minutes. It is now a bonus action. This is your paladin going Super Saiyan at level 20 feature. You can now have damaging scaling off of your charisma modifier, so it'll be +6. Because then you start with a +1. Oh, sorry. Never mind. I'm wrong. It's proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. Proficiency bonus is a +6 already. So I guess if you're max at your charisma, and you probably would as a paladin, it'll be 11 damage. Um, for the radial aura, which is like 30 feet extends, because you already got that bonus from the main class. Oh yeah, one thing to mention is all the auras from the subclasses got just tied to the main aura, so they're the same feat as them. Some were not, some were a little bit smaller. Now they're all just tied to the main one. It's okay if you want your standard paladin, but I think the other paladins are better. Um, Glory is looking good. It's not the best of the options. So you've got Commune and Flame Strike, but you lost Legend Lore and Yondel's Regal Presence. I don't remember if Yondel's was Commune for Legend Lores, that's a fine trade. Um I guess Flame Strike's better now. I don't remember what Yondel's Regal Presence really did. Um Peerless Athlete, I think this lasted like a minute or 10 minutes and now lasts an hour. A nice little martial buff to you outside of combat. And that is in the wrong font. Aura of Alacrity. So yeah, this now emanates from 10 feet, and then it gains the 30 feet at level 18, like the rest of the auras do. Good stuff. Living Legend. Now for 10 minutes, it's an increase. Bonus action, still increase. And then you can swap it out. If you spend a level 5th spell slot, you can do it again. Uh, just like that. Yeah. Ancients. Already a goaded subclass that they decided to make better. So Nature's Wrath is now 15 feet, and it only does strength saving throws, which means your ability to root is going to be. It used to be strength or dex, but now it's just strength, so it'll limit the annoying um, people who are more dexterous and can dodge out of the way of such saving throws. So Aura of Warding. This one used to be one of the reasons why it was so broken. They touched it back a little bit. I'm not quite sure if it's uh it depends on what you fight in the campaign. So the advantage on spells was goaded, but now it just gives you resistance to necrotic, psychic, and radiant. You will fight the good amount of necrotic. Um, Psychic not so much, but when it's there, it really stings. So it's good to ward that off. Radiant, I don't think you'll run into any monsters that do radiant damage, unless you're specifically like you gotta be fighting angels and other creatures of the sort. Um, sorry, not angels, celestials. Uh, Undying Sentinel. So you, instead of gaining 1 hit point, when you regenerate, I think it's when you, it's like I think it's a, what's it called? Death Ward effect, like the Barbarian has. You normally gain 1 hit point. Now you gain 3 times Paladin level. So have fun getting back up to 60. Great. Whoops. Elder Champion. Okay, so this one didn't. It's still a minute. It didn't get the 10-minute bump like the others did because it's a little strong. Um, its radius is now 30 feet, like the other auras. It's also bonus action. Yep, it's as strong as it always was, and it's a little bit stronger, and you can refresh it. Maybe Glory is not that bad. I forgot that they not Glory. Devotion's not that bad. Anyways, I think base Paladin's strong enough to carry the subclass, even though they've changed. Uh, okay, last one, Vengeance. So, Vow of, oh, Jesus, sorry. Vow of Enmity has a range of 30 feet, and can be bounced between defeated targets. So you can keep on that enmity going for the whole fight. Um, after your enemies is gone, and I think it's replaced by Reckless Avenger. On a hit, you reduce the target's speed to 0. Nice, nice. I think it's for the vow of enmity, the vow of enmity target. So they're locked in. Oh no, no, no! This is the one where people try to leave from you. You chase after them, and then you whack them, and they get 0 speed. Okay, that is. I may be wrong. Anyways, it's good. It stops people from leaving your melee range and your auras. Lastly, Avenging Angel. This one got nerfed because it used to last an hour. Um, so the action didn't matter if it lasted an hour. And now it only lasts 10 minutes. So I feel like it was a guaranteed stretch to two fights, and now it's not anymore. And it's not as strong as the other ones, unless you can really abuse that flying speed, which at level 20, I don't think you really can. Um, all right, so I think in general, look, it got its damage nerfed. Thank God. Paladin, I think Paladin is great when it's here, where they do good damage, they have good durability, they have good support, but they have to choose between which one to really max out. And I feel like old Paladin could just do it either way. They didn't have to choose. So new Paladin has to choose. You have to choose between which one is most important to your party: how much damage you're dealing, how much durability you have, or how much support you can give out. And the other paladin scores come out like it's always been a great social. Even utility's gotten better with the smites being a lot cooler. Um, so yeah, I think it's taken a small step back. But that's just because those around it have gotten better, not that it's gotten so much weaker. And I feel like you know what, the only thing is that if I were to nurse something about paladin, it would be the what's not listed here, and that is the aura of protection, which is still the same. It's still your good old charisma modifier. So we're gonna move on, but I gotta get a water. So let me see me. I am back. Okay, into the ranger. So favorite enemy got a rework for the better. Um, I would say. Now for the flavor, not so much, but mechanically, it's pretty good. You get two freezes of Hunter's Mark per day, and it scales up to 60 since at level 17. This will be the core damage bonus for the ranger. So you actually start off pretty strong with these extra uses. We'll go. I didn't quite go into the spell list for the concentration. Note that it will affect what spells you want to use and what spells you don't want to use. It's up to whatever ranger build you build. So you natural explorer. It's gone. It was a nice flavor feature. They didn't need to get rid of it, and this is my general complaint when going through the ranger. I feel like overall it got stronger, but not strong enough. I would say. So spell casting. Uh, and now it starts level one. That's a nice boost. I forgot that for the paladin. Yeah, it's just level one now. So they're full on half casters like the artificer was. Rest in peace. Shout out to a real one. Um, and the prepared spells are no longer tied to wisdom modifier. In this case, you didn't bump up your wisdom. You more so focus on your dexterity beforehand. So I think that in this case, it's actually a buff. But and in addition, you're able to swap one out per long rest, which you couldn't do beforehand. Beforehand, you were locked like the other known spellcasters. Now you can swap them out. Uh, Honestly, you now have weapon masteries. You get two. I think you get to swap these one out. I'm not sure. No, you don't. Because of the paladin same thing, you don't. So you only get two. So make sure whatever you're building for a ranger, make sure it's the same weapon type all the way through. Now we have the fighting styles. You get more of them, the same amount as the fighter, as well as druidic warrior, which is the same thing for the paladin, except you get druid spells. You get level one druid spell and two cantrips. I want to say, off the top of my head. All right, deft explorer. You get expertise and two languages known. So you get it really early. I think this is like a level two feature. I want to say, or level three. Primeval awareness is gone. I don't remember what it did. It was a not very good role play feature. I want to say. Um, Again, it could have stayed. It probably could have stayed. Roving. So if you aren't wearing any heavy armor, you gain a plus 10 to movement speed and swimming and climbing. Speed equal to your movement speed. So this is good. This is really good. Uh, I think it makes your ranger seem more of a mobile fighter in multiple terrains. This is a good feature that's also a good roleplay feature. Um, Again, another roleplay feature has gone. Landstride. I still wish it was here though. Expertise. Get two more of them. That's very good. Hidden Plain Sight was a roleplay feature. Trying to be a combat feature, it really sucks. Nature's Nature's Veil is a better one, which is a replacement for Tasha's. So you still get it at some point, but it's a little bit later. Um, However, for now you get Tireless. Gives you temporary HP based off your Wisdom modifier. And you can regenerate it during, and you can regenerate from exhaustion during short rests. Um, it's okay. Um, I don't know if you're gonna get stacked up with multiple exhaustions, but if you do, it's fantastic for that. Um, the temporary HP is pretty much nothing. I guess it over the course of a day it'll get you some cushioning, but eh. Relentless Hunter. So this is where your hunter's marks really start adding to the damage. So now they no longer fall off with concentration. So they still are concentration, but only you can end it on your turn. So that's good to know. Vanish, which was okay, but Nature's Veil, which is supremely good for going invisible in plain sight. It did get a little bit nerf, scaling off of your wisdom modifier instead of your proficiency bonus. But that's you might feel this one if you don't max it out. So you might be left at like four, like at 18 and need that score instead of 20. Um, so instead of having 60, you have pieces of it. But it's way better than Banish. Persistent Hunter. This is where Hunter's Mark starts really getting online. And that is you have advantage on the creature that is marked by your Hunter's Mark. Um, this will increase your consistency, and ranged weapons are already very consistent. This just increases it and increases your crit rate because of the advantage. Um, Fearless Sense just simplifies the blind sight condition. That was kind of confusing written last. Um, I think it's actually a buff because it's not limited to range, I want to say. I think it's based off your own eyesight. So I should probably change it to being a buff, but it's fine. Foe Slayer got reworked. Before, I don't remember how bad it was. This just gives you a flat out D10 for Hunter's Mark instead of a D6. Um, with the amount of Hunter's Marks, with the amount of attacks you can make, for example, um, if you were to do a dual weapon fighting style, and let's just say we have a short sword in one hand for the Vex property. Actually, we don't even need Vex property for this case. So just two sickles. Two sickles. They have the Nick property. You can make two attacks with your main action. Then you can make the Nick weapon attack. So that's three. And if you want to, you can give yourself the dual weapon fighting style. And you can do an extra attack with a bonus action. So it'll be an extra 4d10. But if you don't do that, you can just do an extra 3d10. With the ranged option, however, it's not going to be that much of an increase. And I think that's another critique I have is that Hunter's Mark is a lot better for the melee focused um, ranger fighting style. So I think a lot of rangers might be more melee focused going forward. I mean, they have the hit points for it, and they have the armor for it as well. Um, but I wish there was for that range. So going through the subclasses, Beastmasters pretty much took the and Primal Companion from Tasha's Guide. So there's Beast of the Land. There is no more strength save for its charge attack, which is nice. The Beast of the Sea got its stats rewritten like as seen for its physical stats. It now got Dark Vision. And there's no athletics check for its grappling. It just on a hit, it grapples. That is very strong. The problem is the Beast of the Sea is only useful in the sea. And then the Beast of the Sky just got a rework to its stats, as you can see right there. So in exceptional training, instead of dealing magical damage, it now deals force damage with their any of their bites, claws, that jazz. And finally, Bestial Fury gives the beast multi-attack, and can deal the damage to the Hunter's Mark. So that, if you want, I think um, a ranged ranger is good with the Beastmaster, but also a melee one is because if you, I'm pretty sure these beasts can be medium sized. So if you choose a small race like a gnome, halfling, or even humans now, they can be small. Um, you can ride your mount and then deal a bunch of damage for the hunter's mark there. All right. Fey Wanderer had summoned Fey moved to ninth and just lost Dispel Magic, and no other changes were made. It's a good subclass, but if you're not gonna do anything to it, I don't want to say in the book. I feel like there are other rangers that were also not good, and that could have taken the spot that Fey Wanderer did. Um, However, the rangers were actually overpowered. Um, Gloomstalker, his first ability, Dreadful Strikes, is very infamous. So it no longer gives you an extra attack and bonus damage on the first round of initiative that you got, and the so bonus attack, yeah. Instead, you have a pool of 2d6s equal to your wisdom modifier that you can just add to any weapons damage, and I think you get that uh per day. So you have to you'll refill at the end of the day. To compensate for that massive damage loss, you now have the Umbral Sight, which will increase your dark vision, and if you already have dark vision, it'll increase it further. Um, Stalker's Fury also got reworked. The Dreadful Strikes now go up to D8s, and whenever you use them, you can choose to deal an additional damage to creatures beside them in a radius of 10 foot. I think this will rock a good amount if you're fighting at range, and you're trying to get you're shooting at your allies, the people surrounding your allies. So I think you'll get this feature a lot. And then Shadowy Dodge. Whenever an attack roll hits or misses, you can teleport 30 feet away. So you can be very mobile. So I think Gloomstalker is still going to be um a ranged ranger. Um, Hunter. Um, I think I would have wanted more buffs, but these we got is great. So the Hunter's lore. While a creature is marked by your Hunter's mark, you know whether that creature has immunities, resistance, or vulnerabilities. Perfect. You get to know your prey. Fantastic. Um, Hunter's prey. So, can be changed upon short rest. However, the giant killer prey option is gone. It wasn't that good. Uh, Most people just stuck with the Colossus one. Uh, eh, it's fine. So defensive tactics can be can be changed up on a short rest. Same thing with the Hunter's Prey. Multi-attack defense imposes disadvantage instead of giving you a flat AC. However, Steel Will is gone. I think you might have wanted Steel Will to stick around for some fights, so I'm kind of sad that one's gone. Um, but yeah, and then finally, multi-attack replaced. Uh, multi-attack has been replaced by Superior Hunter's Mark. This, I think, is a downgrade. I think the Whirlwind was necessary for the melee focused, and the Volley was necessary for the ranged. So instead, Hunter's Mark deals damage to another creature within 30 feet of the first, but it's only one Hunter's Mark damage. The Gloomstalker one, even though it has less range, like it deals. I guess it deals more damage. You don't get as many uses. I don't know. I would have rather just kept the volley in. It's only tiny amount of extra damage. As for the superior defense, it's got a rework, which is great. So I think all the features are now combined into one. Well, sort of. You have access to uncanny dodge, as well as you can have enemy damage type until start of your next turn. So it's like super uncanny dodge. So the whole damage type is halved. And then you have. Oh no, that's just it. So you lost evasion, and you lost stand against the tides, which was really bad. But you lost evasion, which was good. So that's unfortunate. Okay, overall, I want to point this out. I think Rangers lost their ability to be a Ranger. I feel like you lost your uniqueness, and you just can't make up for it with the rest of your abilities. They're not like totally dead on being an exploration based character or an investigation based character. I just I I don't see why they had to take away the flavor from the class. Your damage has gone up, your durability has also gone up, your utility, even some of the social aspects of your character has gone up. But I didn't think it needed a nerf to the core ranger part. So it for me it hasn't moved. I guess it moved above, like it moved above artificer, but kind of that's not saying